my channel. So today I'm going to be sharing with you symptoms that I had when I first got pregnant. I don't know about you, but when I first got pregnant, I was so eager to know whether I was pregnant or not, and I started to research the crap out of YouTube, watching other YouTubers share what their symptoms were. I started Googling all sorts of websites and Facebook groups to understand what was going on, and so I knew at some point I was going to share this information with other people, and so I have my list here on my phone dated from August 31st, 2019, and that's when I was experiencing the symptoms, and so I'm going to be referring to my phone. And so let's get straight into the video. I'm going to take you back 2 weeks prior to getting pregnant, and so this is going to sound really woo-woo to many of you, and if it is and it's not something you're into, that's totally fine. I will get to other symptoms as well later on in this video, but this is what my experience was. Within 2 weeks prior to getting pregnant, I started having vivid, consistent dreams 2 weeks straight. Like literally every single day I would have these dreams. And every single dream consisted of either being pregnant or giving birth to a child or having children and living day-to-day life with a newborn baby. And let me just tell you, it was, oh my goodness, I'm sure you've experienced this at some point where the dream is so real. Like I felt what it's like to be pregnant before I was pregnant. And when I look back and I could still remember those dreams, the feeling and sensation is exactly the same as when I was pregnant. It's so trippy. It's so trippy. Not only that, I knew what gender I was going to have before I was even pregnant. I feel like it was God showing me what was to come and letting me know you have a baby boy on his way. Within 48 hours after getting pregnant, I started to experience some bloating, some gassiness, and that's not something that I usually ever have. Even during my period or even after eating something, like if I eat a pizza or something, I don't experience bloating, knock on wood. Day 7, I noticed that I had slight bleeding and extra mucus coming out, and again, that's not something that I usually ever experience. And so I made sure to wear a panty liner so that, you know, my underwear didn't get dirty or anything like that. And at first I thought, oh, maybe my period was coming. And generally speaking, when I have my period, I don't have spotting in the beginning and then get my period. That's not usual for me. I usually, once I have my period, it just comes and it's like, here I am, I made my debut, and then it leaves after 4 days. It was very consistent. I knew exactly when my period would come. It was very on time. And so this was unusual. I never experienced this kind of like spotting. 12 days post-conception, I started to experience a little bit extra moodiness. And again, maybe I was going through a stressful time during that time. It's nothing that I could recall. However, I do remember experiencing a little bit more irritability, moodiness, and so that's another symptom. 2 weeks post-conception, my husband decided to pick up a huge bag of pregnancy tests because we thought, you know, it's probably going to take us some time to get pregnant. It was our first time, and we thought maybe it might take 6 months to a year. And so he picked these up, and they were from Amazon. And these are like those test strips here. I just actually opened one right now to show you guys. And this is what it looks like. They're like test strips like this. And you dip the end of it right here in the urine, and you hold it in there for a few seconds, and then you lay it out and wait 5 minutes, and then it will show you whether you're pregnant or not by showing you whether you have 2 lines. So if it's 2 lines, then you're pregnant. If 1 line, you're not pregnant. From the very first test, I saw a very subtle line, and at that point I was just like, there's no freaking way. There's no way! So he took the test 7 more times. So I was like popping these out, and you know, I waited like a couple of hours and I peed in a cup again. I thought maybe the urine was not accurate. I don't freaking know. I was freaking out a little bit, and so tested again, and every single test turned out the same. I saw a very subtle line, and so just to make sure, because, you know, taking 7 of these strip tests was not enough for me, I ended up taking like one of these clear blue pregnancy tests in addition to like the electronic ones, you know, the ones that says like pregnant, not pregnant. I took both of those, and I'm gonna share the clip of that right here as a photo. That's what the test was, and it really confirmed that I was pregnant. Now around the same time, this was again 2 weeks post-ovulation, now my period was missed, and I saw that when I was pregnant, I started to experience a heightened sense of smell. I could smell something from a mile away. Sorry, the lighting is changing because it's kind of cloudy and overcast and the sun is like coming in and out. And so I started to experience aversions to smell, to things that I used to absolutely love, such as coffee. Like, I am a coffee junkie and I could not stand the smell of coffee. I could not walk by coffee shops and experience the pleasant aroma of coffee anymore. It literally made my stomach turn. Speaking of, there's a really quick sip. I couldn't be near my dog Noodles. It just, like, everything was super heightened. It was hard to even cook anything because it would just make my stomach turn. By week 5, I started to experience morning sickness. And it was so horrible. Oh my gosh. And not only that, the morning sickness I experienced went on well into my 2nd trimester. I'm actually going to film a video on that because that was a very hard time, and I know that it's tough, especially when it's like you feel like you can't do anything about it. You know, your body is doing its thing, it's growing a baby, and it feels horrible. So I will share tips on what I did to help with that, but for now, that was one of my significant symptoms, is morning sickness from morning up until the evening, and it would progressionally get really bad, especially in the nighttime. With that, around the same time, so again, we're at the 5-week marker of pregnancy, I started to experience fatigue. I was more tired. I wanted to sleep, and it's not the kind of fatigue where you're just like, oh, I'm just kind of tired, I want to lay down. It was the kind of fatigue of like, I need to sleep, and if I don't sleep, I'm literally gonna fall asleep anywhere that I'm sitting. It was almost like your body went through a marathon and is just done, and it's crazy, but it's just your body is prepping for a baby. I started to experience breast tenderness. Now, you can experience the breast tenderness 1 to 2 weeks post-conception. For me, it started to, I started to really feel it by week 5, and it feels the same way that you feel like when you have your period, where your breasts are kind of tender, and I know that it ranges for every woman. For some, they really feel like the pain. I did not experience it to that extent. It was just a little bit of tenderness. I knew that like my body was changing, my boobs were kind of getting a little bit bigger, and again, that was at the 5-week mark. So those were my symptoms during the very beginning stages of pregnancy. I hope that was supportive for you. Share in the comments below if you have gotten pregnant. Did you have the same symptoms? Did you have different symptoms? I would love to hear from you, and if this was a supportive video for you, then go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content coming your way, and I will see you in the next video.